No idea is original. There's nothing new under the sun. It's never what you do, but how it's done. What you base your happiness around. Material, women, and large paper. That means you're inferior, not major. This is a response to a video that was done several days ago by Domislive. And there's a couple reasons why I've decided to do this video. Number one, no one else is going to make this. I think if you want to make the best possible content that you can make, you should create things that you would like to see or hear yourself. And plus, everybody's too worried about views anyway. I will gladly take my 10 views and I will go about my way. The second reason why I decided to do this is to bookmark history. If we believe that this is a medium that's going to carry us into the next generations of rap music, then it has to be known that there were people that predate the large voices right now. We can't act like Ed Lover didn't exist just because Charlemagne the God is the largest voice in terrestrial radio. So it's just the same in this new media space that we're operating in. The third reason why I wanted to do this is something that I sort of have to give you a bit of context as to what Dom's video was all about. And I'll give you the long end of the story. If you would like to pause this and listen to his video and Akademiks' video, you may do that, but it really won't be necessary because this particular video isn't really about their conflict at all. But Dom had a merch idea that had something to do with Tekashi 69 and his whole Test My Gangster thing that he was telling everybody. And Dom called it the Test My Gangster Tour. He made the design. He put it out for public consumption. Then days or weeks later, DJ Akademiks mentioned on his live that he had that very same idea. Of course, then Dom made a video saying, "You stole my idea." DJ Akademiks responded later on, not mentioning Dom's voice, but it was indirect, but it was directed at him. And then Dom made the video that I just mentioned to you several days ago. So the third reason why I wanted to make this is because so much of their conflict, so much of what goes on between them, in my opinion, happens because of their fan bases. And after a while, your audience basically tells you who you are and they fight for you. And if DJ Akademiks' fan base is always saying that Dom just recreated what Akademiks did and he copied off of him, it's because people have very little knowledge as to who started doing this and what they were doing years before any of us ever existed. Well, not really existed, but you understand what I mean. So the sooner we can get past all those conversations about originality, about who created what, the sooner we can get to understand this medium a lot better. The sooner we can get to see the bigger picture about what all of this is about. Of course, the dangerous thing with all of this is the winners always write history. In the olden days, if you made the most heads roll, if you caught the most bodies, you were an emperor, you were a king, and your word was law. You got to write history. Now, these days, it's not rolling heads, but it's viewership. If you have the most people watching you, you can switch narratives. You can tell people that people are coming at you because they are chasing attention or that they have some ulterior motive that you shouldn't be questioned. That's why this is happening. It's happening because it's an attack on you because they have something to gain. The winners always write history. I think it was Tolstoy who said, "History would be a wonderful thing if only it were true." There's no such thing as history. In every facet of humanity, it's all bullshit. Us people of color who actually believe that our history started in bondage. You understand what I'm trying to say? You didn't start in bondage. And ironically, that's why we're here. That's why we talk about hip hop. We talk about hip hop because we are here to empower. We are here to tell you that you weren't born a slave. You weren't given freedom. I'm getting off on a bit of a tangent, but you weren't given freedom. You are free. You understand what I'm trying to say? Did I sound a bit hoteppy? Is that what I'm doing now? This is what I'm doing on my channel now. I'm coming across as a hotep. So what I'd like to do is I'd like to show you the couple of people that started this on YouTube. Now, you can have your one or two people that you think predates the people that I am about to mention. YouTube, if I'm not mistaken, started in 2006. And if you have somebody that you used to watch in 2006 and, I'm not able to find this person, so please, in the comment section below, please lay it down there. But far and wide, this was the first individual that spoke about hip hop on YouTube. This was a comedy channel. This man was a YouTuber by the name of Eben Gregaory, aka Jewelry Man.
I took my glasses off and I said, when we ask for advice, we are usually looking for an accomplice.
This wasn't his channel. Obviously, this was later posted by this individual here. So his material predates June 22nd, 2008. Jewelry Man was all about the comedy. He would take stories and he would flip them into his own narrative. He would read quotes in high-pitched tones.
Everything ain't good, It ain't good, man. I mean, people's situations ain't good right now. Just with our projects, I feel as though the support ain't there.
And I think what I liked the most about him was his comedic timing.
Oh, that's cool. But I guess what I'm really asking is, do you think this picture of me and my homeboy looks kind of gay?
Yes.
He also had no illusions as to how important what he was delivering was. He knew he was making fun of people. He knew it was all comedy. So every time he had something to deliver every week, he would put up in quotations the news. And every video was a pattern. Everything that he had to say, the text that would show up on the screen was always the same theme, but you never knew what direction he would take it into. What made me watch was the randomness of how he would play out certain situations. So, for example, if you had a situation where Beanie Siegel had something to say about Rockefeller, he would then play out how he thinks the rest of the group would talk about this behind closed doors.
All right, cool. Thanks for calling, man. I'm gonna holler at you later. Hey, Jay, hold on 1 second. Yeah, what? Can I get my allowance?
That made it extremely interesting. That made it extremely entertaining. And it was the very first YouTube channel that I was ever subscribed to. I don't know how I subscribed. I don't even remember how it happened. Back in that time in 2008, I wasn't looking at YouTube on my phone. I would only find it on a desktop computer. But that was the very first channel that I am aware of that spoke about hip hop. Now, with this next channel, I hope you guys get more of an understanding about what I was referring to when it came to originality between DJ Akademiks and Domislive. I started YouTube in 2011. Before this point, I hadn't seen anybody besides Eben Gregaory do hip-hop, period. 2 months into YouTube, I was contacted by Haterazzi. Now, Haterazzi had been on YouTube 3-4 years before I was on YouTube. He was also doing voiceovers over video form. The difference between his channel and mine was he was doing parodies as well as the commentary. His commentary was great. He was extremely intelligent, very thoughtful. Haterazzi was a person who I later grew more of a personal relationship with, but the parody was really what parody should be in its truest form, because it was such an exaggeration for comedic purposes as opposed to exploitation, which is, basically mistreating the subject because it has 1 foot in and 1 foot out.
I promise to you, this is an Olin Mills photograph of the devil. You see that there? A ram represents Satan. Now, if you drive a Dodge Ram, or you got season tickets to the St. Louis Rams games, then you are nothing but a minion of the devil. Next thing you know, Satan's gonna hit you up on eBay trying to buy your soul, and you're probably gonna sell it to him.
After finding out about Haterazzi. I then found channels like Thought Crimes. I mean, there was Misanthropic one, obviously Dead End Hip Hop. You know, I'm solely speaking on channels that were just hip hop. Obviously, Anthony Fantano. Anthony Fantano, I found, I think, a year or two after I was on YouTube. I mean, that sort of gives you an idea of how difficult it was to find people on YouTube. And this is one that I just want to mention just because I want to indulge. This is a person that I think it's very unfortunate that he didn't stay on YouTube, because I believe had he been on YouTube this whole time, he would be a much larger voice. And to me, he's the GOAT. He's the greatest of all time. And I know when I say this name, there's going to be about 5 people out there that understand exactly what I mean. And if you understand exactly what I mean, then you need to hit that fucking like button or subscribe if you already haven't. That's Nikbag TV.
What's up, man? It's your boy, Mr. Nikbag TV, aka Blogaholic, back in the building, back in the flesh.
Nikbag to me was the perfect mixture of everything. He had the right energy. He had hip hop knowledge. He had knowledge as far as the world in general, because he could go into politics, he could go into social issues, and he could connect that with the hip hop topics. He was just a very genuine, likable person, and it is a shame that he didn't stay on YouTube. This was somebody that I had a podcast with, somebody that I had conversed with many times, and he was the GOAT. He was absolutely the GOAT, and he will always be the GOAT. I don't care how many YouTube channels come by. I don't know. I don't care how many people get 1 million subscribers. Back in the day, you weren't really aware of the following that somebody had. And I think the following that people have now sort of hinders them from being loved. I think that's one of the things that holds Akademiks back, because it seems like his fan base has a problem with him getting bigger, because the larger he gets, the more people say he's changed, he's done this. That's because people are too aware of his size and they're just not enjoying his content. That's what I think is happening there. I mean, you really rob yourself of enjoying someone when you're too caught up in how large they are. And when you're too caught up in how large they are, you begin to take everything way too personal. But this video, I felt was needed for those reasons. I feel that no one else would have made this video. I think this has to be a bookmark, and we have to set everything clear before we move forward and understanding what this medium truly means. So we have to stay clear of the talks of you stole this from me, you stole that from me. Because I told you, no idea is original. There's nothing new under the sun. It's never what you do, but how it's done. What you base your happiness around. Material, women, and large paper. That means you're inferior, not major. No idea is original. There's nothing new under the sun. It's never what you do, but how it's done. What you base your happiness around. Material, women, and large paper. That means you're inferior, not major.
What's up, man? Hey, your boy, Mr. Nikbag TV, aka Blogaholic, now known as Politic Nick, back in the building. Gotta talk about this. Lil Wayne, yes, Lil Wayne still throwing shots at good music. A lot of people has eased up on the whole good music, Young Money beef, because, you know, Wayne and Kanye got respect for each other. Big Sean was on Wayne album. 2 Chainz and Wayne, they brothers. All of this back and forth stuff. Let's not forget these dudes always are beefing somehow, some way. There's always some subliminal shots thrown from each side, and this just adds on to the fire.